Hello and welcome to Raju Notes channel, your pit stop for weekly current affairs updates. The updates tailor-made for students taking all kinds of competitive exams like UPSC, civils, defense and placement interviews. Please subscribe to the channel and stay updated every Sunday. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and his US counterpart Jake Sullivan met Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Jeddah this week. The leaders met for a shared vision of more secure, prosperous Middle East region interconnected with India and the world. Sullivan and Doval also conducted bilateral talks in their first meeting since the India-US ICET dialogue launch. A major network of railways of Gulf is likely to be connected to India and Indian shipping lanes. Next year's Republic Day parade could feature only women participants, from marching contingents and bands to tableau and performers, said reports, quoting government sources. The decision, which is aimed at promoting female representation in military and other sectors, has been conveyed to the armed forces and government departments, and its implementation is being worked out, as per the sources. Live-in partners and same-sex couples will not be allowed to avail of services under the surrogacy law, the centre told Supreme Court this week. It said that a parliamentary committee was of a view that inclusion of such couples within the ambit of Surrogacy Act would open the scope of misuse of such facilities. Zimbabwe on Monday launched gold-backed local digital tokens to replace the reduced dependency on US dollar. The gold-backed digital currency will be fully backed by physical gold held by Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, the bank said in an official press release. The tokens can be used to carry out peer-to-peer payments and transactions, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe governor said last month. A government panel has recommended imposing a ban on diesel-powered four-wheelers in cities with more than 1 million population and towns with high population by 2027. By 2030, no city buses should be added which aren't electric, the Energy Transition Advisory Committee said. In 2021, Prime Minister Narendra Modi pledged that India will cut its emissions to net zero by 2070. Zomato shares slumped over 5% this week as government-backed Open Network for Digital Commerce (ONDC) entered the food delivery market. ONDC lets restaurants sell food directly to the consumers without the need for third party, has breached 10,000 daily orders mark. People are taking to Twitter to share screenshots comparing ONDC's price with the Swiggy and Zomato, saying ONDC costs cheaper. China has opposed a proposal by India to blacklist Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist Abdul Rauf Azhar at the United Nations Security Council. Abdul Rauf is the brother of Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar and has reportedly been involved in planning and executing several terror strikes in India. He was sanctioned by the US in 2010. Indian Council of Medical Research this week successfully conducted a trial run of blood bag delivery using drone under its iDrone initiative. The initiative, ICMR's drone response and outreach for Northeast, was used by ICMR during COVID-19 pandemic for distributing vaccines to hard-to-reach areas. The trial flight carried 10 units of whole blood samples from Greater Noida to New Delhi. At its Input-Output Developers Conference, Google announced it is testing a translation service that redubs video in a new language while also synchronizing speakers' lips with words they never spoke. Called Universal Translator, the tool transcribes the speech, translates it, and regenerates the speech in that language, and then edits video so that speakers' lips more closely match the new audio. Experts working with the government are advising WhatsApp users to report and block unwanted calls and messages from international numbers, starting with numbers like +254, +84, +63, and plus brackets 1218, as per ANI report. Such international calls have Singapore, Vietnam, Malaysia as origins, and bad actors could steal people's financial data using these numbers. This is a new cyber trend, as per experts. SpaceX Axiom SpaceX2 mission. Astronauts will grow induced pluripotent stem cells (iPSCs) on the International Space Station, making the first time stem cells will be grown in space. They will test how limited gravity influences the development of heart and brain cells. Researchers say one of the main issues with producing iPSCs on Earth may involve gravity induced tension. Germany and Denmark have begun constructing the world's longest underwater rail and road tunnel. The 18-kilometer passageway, which is due to be completed by 2029, will link the two countries via a double-lane motorways and two electrified rail track. The £10 billion project will cross a stretch of the Baltic Sea known as the Fehmarn Belt. Oil and Natural Gas Corporation made discoveries of oil and gas in two Mumbai offshore blocks in Arabian Sea. The discoveries, which have been named Amrit and Munga, were made in the blocks that the company won in recent open acreage licensing round. ONGC's discoveries in both rounds carry significant importance towards energy security by bolstering domestic production. ISRO has successfully begun testing its semi-cryogenic engine that will power future launch vehicles. The test took place at the newly commissioned semi-cryogenic integrated engine and stage test facility at the ISRO Propulsion Complex in Mahendragiri. It was done on an intermediate configuration of 2000 kN semi-cryogenic engine comprising all engine systems except the thrust chamber. The sixth edition of the Indian Ocean Conference was inaugurated this week by Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in Dhaka. More than 150 participants from 25 countries are taking part in the same. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and many high-ranking leaders, including the President of Mauritius and Vice President of Maldives, took part in the two-day-long conference. The conference endeavors to bring critical states and principal maritime partners of the region together on a common platform to deliberate upon the prospects of regional cooperation for security and growth for all in the region. The compounds in Labrador tea, a traditional medicinal plant found in the United States and Canada, have been identified as potential aids in fighting the parasite responsible for malaria. The study, published in the ACS Omega, found that a component of the plant acted against both strains of malarial parasite. Labrador tea is commonly used by indigenous communities to make herbal tea. Linda Yaccarino has been confirmed as Twitter's new CEO, replacing Elon Musk. She quit her role as a head of advertising at NBC Universal after nearly 12 years on Friday. Linda will focus primarily on business operations, while Musk will focus on the product design and new technology, Musk tweeted. Looking forward to work with Linda to transform Twitter into X, the everything app, he added. Thousands of migrants were amassed at the US-Mexico border on Thursday in an attempt to enter the United States as the pandemic-era migration policy known as Title 42 came to an end. The policy used to immediately deport migrants without providing them asylum hearings. US President Joe Biden's administration has been unveiling strict new measures to replace Title 42. The Legislative Assembly elections were held in Karnataka on 10th May 2023 to elect all 224 members of the Karnataka Legislative Assembly. The votes were counted and the results were declared on 13th May 2023, in which Congress won comfortably over the halfway mark. The election saw a voter turnout of 73.19%, the highest ever recorded in the history of Karnataka elections.
And now for the segment where we see the events that unfolded this week back in history.
May 1663, Theatre Royal opened. The Theatre Royal, built by dramatist Thomas Killigrew for his company of actors and now commonly known as Drury Lane Theatre, opened in London this day in 1663 and is the oldest English theatre still in use. 15th May 1945, World War II in Europe ended. Following Germany's unconditional surrender, World War II in Europe officially ended at the midnight of this day in 1945, although the war in Pacific continued until the Japanese surrendered in September. May 1502, fourth and final voyage of Christopher Columbus launched. On this day in 1502, Master Navigator and Admiral Christopher Columbus, long considered the discoverer of the New World, set sail from Spain on his fourth and final voyage, hoping to find a passage to Asia. May 7, 1994. Nelson Mandela, whose efforts to end apartheid led to his imprisonment from 1962 to 1990 and earned him a share with F.W. de Klerk in 1993 Nobel Peace Prize, became President of South Africa this day in 1994. May 330. New Rome established by Constantine. On this day in 330, Constantine I dedicated Byzantium, now in Istanbul, as a new capital of Eastern Rome Empire, an act that helped transform it into a leading city of the world. May 1926, first flight over the North Pole. Abroad, the semi-rigid airship Norwegian explorer Amundsen, American scientist Lincoln Ellsworth, and Italian engineer Umberto Nobile made the first undisputed flight over the North Pole on this day in 1926. 1846. US declaration of war on Mexico approved. Tensions between Mexico and United States stemming from United's annexation of Texas in 1845 led the US Congress on this day in 1846 to approve overwhelmingly a declaration of war against Mexico.
Well, that's all friends for this week's updates. See you soon next Sunday on the same channel. Till then, take care. Bye bye.